I am James Yoder of Chat Sports. It's the Michigan Football Report. We are talking signing day. Also have a few interesting news and rumors, nuggets here around the Michigan football program outside of signing day. And I'll tell you this, right? It's been all roses for Michigan recruiting the last few signing days. Even if you go back to like 2021, you get Donovan Edwards, et cetera, et cetera. Jair Hills, another guy, had a few flips over the last couple of years. This is not one of those. Got potentially three of Michigan's top recruits, four-star guys that may end up elsewhere, have yet to sign. There's also a five-star yet to sign that we'll talk about in a moment. But I want to make sure we're putting out the good vibes. Type Go Blue. Go Blue to you. Say it back to me in the comments. Only if you are a Michigan football fan. Say it down in the comments. Be loud. Be proud. Go Blue. Going to the big-time offseason for this program. Year 2 of Bryce Underwood. Year 3 of Sharon Moore. And I want to make sure, talking about Bryce Underwood, we let you guys know, couldn't gather it. Too much stuff going on with recruiting. Jack and I were going to film like 7 a.m. this morning, and all these rumors came out about the 2 or 3 players that aren't going to sign, aren't going to flip. So wanted to wait until we had more intel on what was going on. So with that being said, we will announce the Bryce Underwood jersey giveaway. We've got 2 winners that we're going to announce on a show either Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Now, 3 4-star recruits for Michigan are not signing, delayed signing. 2 of them delayed it past today. One, Travis Johnson has said that he still plans to sign today, but we will see how things go. So Julian Walker from the state of South Carolina, fresh off an unofficial visit with his entire family for the Ohio State game this past weekend, is going to delay his signing by a day, right? He is from the state of South Carolina and is down to Michigan and South Carolina for him, which has been rumored for the last couple months, it seems like. And a lot of good vibes. All the blog boys are putting out the good word on him that, hey, it's all good. His mom really liked what she saw. His family felt comfortable, yada, yada, yada. But let's just kind of call a spade a spade. If a guy is, wavering and waffling, I always put it like 10%. If you get to this far and you haven't signed, you're actually going to end up with the class you originally committed to from the state of South Carolina. And so what we've got credible word from is that, South Carolina came in with a NIL deal that matched Michigan's, and he's from the state, and his family's there, et cetera, no real ties to Michigan. And so he's going to wait a day, see if Michigan will up the ante, and then maybe South Carolina ups the ante on that. Who knows? But I think actually it's going to come down to if it's the same or similar NIL deals, he's going to stick at home. If it's not, and Michigan comes over the top with another $50K a year or something like that, then potentially, he ends up with Michigan. All right, let's talk who we got next year, Jack. Let's talk about a little Zion Robinson. Look, this one would hurt. He's going to delay his decision, not signing today. Could happen tomorrow. Could happen later this week, potentially. We'll see. He gives something Michigan, I think, that they haven't had in a long time, right? We thought we were going to get it this year with Donovan McCulley. Didn't really turn out, which is a big-bodied wide receiver. He's 6'3". He's 190, 95 pounds. He can go up and get the ball. His high school highlight film is amazing from the state of Texas. Just like Andrew Marsh, they make a nice combo in a couple years, maybe even next year. But Stanford has entered the fray for him, and sounds like with their new head coaching hire and Andrew Luck running the show for them, that they have made an NIL deal, which was kind of surprising. Equivalent or above what Michigan's is, and so he's going to delay and decide between Michigan and Stanford. If it's an education thing, if it's a weather, if it's a campus thing, I wouldn't blame him by any means. Stanford over Michigan. But if it's a football thing, I don't really know where we're going with that. Go ahead and choose Michigan. But from a passing game perspective, wouldn't surprise me either. This one would shock. This one would be a shocker. Travis Johnson, his parents have been big over social media. They're always retweeting the blog boys. They're doing interviews about him. He committed over the 4th of July, actually on the 4th of July, and now he's going to delay his signing. Didn't sign his letter of intent this morning. Potentially could flip to Virginia Tech. Apparently they have made an NIL package with James Franklin in the fold now. Remember, he was down to a few schools, one of them being Penn State, had a long relationship with Franklin, who's now the head coach at Virginia Tech. Michigan's court really for all 3 of these guys. Are they going to use the NIL dollars at their disposal on these 3 recruits to keep them? 3 of Michigan's what? What's the rankings here, Jake? That's 3 of their top 8 recruits, right? The 3rd-ranked recruit in Walker, 4th-ranked recruit Johnson, 8th-ranked recruit in Robinson, all top 204 stars for Michigan. Now, if Travis Johnson ends up going somewhere else, if he goes to South Carolina, that one wouldn't hurt as much because Michigan has defensive ends galore. You can get defensive tackles or a dime a dozen in the transfer portal. You've got recruits last year. You've got recruits this year. wide receiver would hurt because Michigan had one of the worst recruiting wide receiver groups in all of Power 4 in 2024. Maybe one of the worst, maybe the worst this year until Andrew Marsh, the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season until Andrew Marsh came along. And didn't Marsh last year. I'm not sure we can get from Jamar Browder, but if you lose both these wide receiver recruits, what else do you have? You got Pyle in this class, and it would hurt significantly. It would it'd be a big blow, honestly, to what recruits and what parents and players think of the future with Jerome Moore and Bryce Underwood throwing the ball in this offense. So I would really hate to see both these wide receivers go elsewhere. If they do, I can't tell you how paramount it is that Michigan gets 2 or 3 big-time wide receivers, especially underclassmen guys that can make an impact over the next couple of seasons. Because if not, we're going to have the worst wide receiving group in college football other than Andrew Marsh going forward if both of these players decide to flip elsewhere. Let's keep it rolling now. If the college football play rankings hold, as came out this morning, basically if there's nothing chaotic, if BYU doesn't beat Texas Tech and other things, or if Texas somehow doesn't jump in to the CFP, or if they decide to push Alabama out, let's say they lose to Georgia by 50 and they decide, we're going to push them out, which I don't think will happen no matter what, then it is going to be Michigan versus Texas in the Citrus Bowl on December 31st, 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC down in Orlando. Texas has won the only 2 matchups between these 2 teams. The Citrus Bowl is contractually obligated with the College Football Playoff to take the highest-ranked Big 10, highest-ranked Big 12, highest-ranked Big 12 SEC team that are not in the college football playoffs. So Citrus Bowl, Michigan, and Texas is what it's trending like. We're going to find out on Sunday after the college football playoff rankings come out Sunday morning, and then they announce the rest of the bowl game. So this is what we all think it's going to be. It's been kind of writings on the wall. If they didn't beat Ohio State, this is what it's going to be for several weeks. So let me know who you guys got. Type M for Michigan, type T for Texas in this one. As we get into our signing day coverage, I'm going with them, Jack. I think it's Michigan. I think they're going to win that game, but we will see. I think Texas would have more guys opting out than Michigan. Arch probably returns next year, so it'd be a decent quarterback matchup. The number 1 recruit from 23, number 1 recruit in 2025. I want to point this out to those players, by the way, Walker and Johnson, and who's the other one I'm forgetting? Zion Robinson, who are thinking about flipping. Look at this bad boy. You see this? You see this bad boy? You see that? I'm going to come around. Make sure we get it. There we go. You see that? Okay, that's a national title ring. You think you get one of these at South Carolina, Jack? You think you get one at Stanford? You think you get one at Virginia Tech? You're not. So why don't you come to Michigan, win yourself a national title with the greatest quarterback recruit in history, Bryce Underwood. There's the top 26 recruiting rankings as we are filming right around 2:30 Eastern on Wednesday, National Signing Day. USC wins the day. Number 1 recruiting class in college football. It's a Big Ten 1-2 in the polls, Big Ten 1-2 in the recruiting rankings with USC and Oregon, Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, and Miami. Kind of, honestly, it's mirroring most of the college football playoff rankings, right? Where 8 or 9 of those teams in the CFP. Michigan, LSU, and they could take a big jump here if Lane Kiffin can get anybody to flip, hold on to that class, and to maybe add 1 or 2 players who don't sign today. One note, Havon Finney, who is the number 93 player overall in the country, cornerback, top 5, 6, 7 cornerback in this class, been committed to LSU for a long while. Word is out there that if they don't hold on to the secondary defensive backs coach for LSU on Lane Kiffin's staff, he is not going to sign today. He's going to see how that plays out. If he doesn't end up with LSU, if they don't retain the cornerback secondary coach for LSU with this new staff, he is incredibly likely to flip to Michigan, which would be a nice addition to the class if they lose out on these top 100 and 200 players that we mentioned just a moment ago. Let's run through the class. We've got the 3 players in here so far that are there because they haven't flipped elsewhere, but take it with a grain of salt. We've got the little double star on each one of them. You've got Carter Meadows and Savion Hyder, right? As we film it here, Jack, 2:30 Eastern, Hyder has not yet signed his national letter of intent. Now, I haven't seen any credible rumors, haven't heard anything from my sources that he is planning to flip, but I'm always nervous as hell that a player like him from the state of Virginia that has plenty of suitors, could basically go wherever he wants, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee were his finalists other than Michigan, that he can make a decision to go elsewhere, especially coming off a loss to Ohio State. You never know what's in a player's mind. Travis Johnson, okay, right? So 3 of the two of the top four might be elsewhere here. Would be a huge blow. Would be one of the worst signing days in Michigan in recent memory. Titan Davis out of the state of Missouri. He is an absolute beast there on the defensive line. Look for him. Probably ends up, I'm sure, on the interior unless he slims up a little bit. You got Malakai Lee out of Hawaii, 4-star offensive tackle. Jamarion Vincent just flipped from Baylor, number 168 over in the class, 4-star from the state of Texas. Zion Robinson, also from Texas, maybe flipping. Maybe we'll see what happens with him in Stanford. Alister, Vallejo, and Clarke Jr. Round out our top 10 players in this Michigan football class. Now, you've got a lot of diversity there. You got Washington, D.C., Virginia, South Carolina, Virginia, Missouri, Hawaii, Texas, and Virginia as the states of those top 10 recruits for Michigan. Now, how does this class compare to past Michigan football classes? Let's take a look at the Big Ten rankings, though. You can toss those up, Jack. I don't mind talking about those now. I misread the script. Michigan's got the number 4 class in the Big Ten, which is not terrible. And you can see that they're number 4 class with 27 recruits. USC is just kind of breaking all the rules, going over the numbers, in 35 players in this class. Oregon's impressive, right? They have 4 5-stars, only 21 players, and the second-ranked class in the Big Ten, second-ranked class overall. Surprise from Washington. They are up there. Michigan State, nice to be back in the fold there at number 10. I didn't think we'd ever see you again in the top 10 in any recruiting rankings, let alone the Big Ten. Penn State's a disaster, right? They're every coach is turning them down. They've only got 3. Is that right? 3 commits in this class? Wow, that's wild. They have the worst ranked recruiting class in the Big Ten after they got rid of James Franklin. They basically lost their entire class. How about Michigan's comparing this class to other classes, right? I'm not going to blame Jim Harbaugh, but I'm going to blame him a little bit for Michigan not being as deep this year and last year as they should have been. His last 2 full recruiting classes in 23 and the one that kind of came right after he left in 24 were not Michigan's best, number 16 and number 17 in the country. Sharon had a nice end to last year, finished in the top 10 at number 6, and this year's class is number 11, which would be this 3rd highest ranked class in the past 6 seasons. All right, let's keep things rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. Want to show you guys this week's and today's deals. This bad boy is still on sale. Do not miss out. It's the post-Black Friday sale. This Michigan Football Jordan Brand Maze Players t-shirt was normally $40, now only $28. Second paragraph down in the description. It's also in the comments. Click on that pinned comment. I'll have it as a reply to the pinned comment. That link right there. Get it. Don't wait, because a lot of these sizes are running out. They only have, some items I want to show you guys only have like available in small and quadruple extra large. This is still available in all the sizes, small through XL. Chatsports.com/MazeT. And this bad boy is back on sale, and even on sale more. Was $85. We were throwing it for like $48, $49, $50, down to $44. Chatsports.com/hoodie sale. Link for both those. Comments and second paragraph of the description. Click on it, type it in, drop it in there. Get the size you want for the people in your life that you love, that love Michigan football this holiday season. Outside the top 10 players for this Michigan football class, you got I got a lot of good name guys down the list here. You got Marky Walkbridge, right? Awesome name. I like just taking the name Mark. It's kind of a nerd name. Nerd turned to Marky. You go Marky Jack, you're kind of like a bad boy, right? You're like Marky Mark. Out of Don Brown's backyard, number 228 in the class, Marky Walkbridge out of Massachusetts. You got Matt Ludwig, right? 4-star, top 250 player overall, out of the state of Montana. Next, Colson Loveland, heard it here first. Now, Brady Smigiel, Michigan's quarterback, commit for the longest time, out of Southern California, about an hour north up the coast from LA. Still is ranked as a composite 4-star, but several of the recruiting services have really downgraded him, especially after not having a great performance in the summer camps this past summer, and then this season got injured, didn't really show out that well beforehand. There are people that say that Tommy Carr, who we'll talk about here in the end of the show as we're just doing him in order, is actually the better quarterback prospect of the 2 quarterbacks that Michigan is bringing in this class. So no hate on the kid, but I'm not sure a lot of people who study this stuff closer than I do are sold on Brady Smigiel as Michigan's quarterback of the future. You got Jordan Deck out of our backyard, Frisco, Texas, about 40 minutes north of Chat Sports, 4-star safety out of the state of Texas. And then rounding out the 4 stars, 15 of them from Michigan in the 24/7 Sports Composite. You've got Mikhail Blade, all name team guy. Last name is Blade. That's awesome. edge. See, you got all these edges. You got players in last year's class, this year's class. Edge is not necessarily a concern if you're to lose Julian Walker. It would be at wide receiver, as yet to have a third wide receiver in this group. After the top 15, you've got Mason Bonner. All right, out of Denver. He is a 3-star, like we see out of him, another tight end. We'll see how things shake out. You're never going to predict these guys with 3 stars. But I like Michigan's geographical diversity in this class. Going over to Bear McWhorter out of the state of Georgia. Offensive lineman Aiden Reeder, Cincinnati, Ohio. Did not have an offer from Ohio State. Adrian Hamilton, the third prospect Michigan's got in this class from D.C. He just flipped from Virginia Tech yesterday. So took one from James Franklin yesterday. Maybe lose one from him to him today. And then Jonathan Brown out of Columbus, Ohio, another running back for Michigan, the second in the class behind Savion. I want to ask you guys a question before we finish out this recruiting roundup. Have you guys subscribed to our YouTube channel? If you have, go ahead and type Y down in the comments. I want to kind of recognize, give some shout outs on the next show to people watching today who have been subscribed. If you haven't, type no. I won't shame you, but I will encourage you to click that subscribe button right below today's video, and the link is always youtube.com/Michigan TV. Let me know why or and. Keep it rolling here. Markel Dabney out of Virginia. You notice a theme here. Michigan focused on Virginia. You got 2 best skill players out of the state of Virginia in Johnson, in Hyder. You got a bunch of players from the state of Virginia. I think the top 6, 7, 8 guys in the state of Virginia this year, Jack, like 6 of the top 8 were committed to Michigan, or 5 of the top 8 committed to Michigan. Tommy Frauman, I love the name. It's like Abe Froman from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Out of state of Illinois, was a early November flip from Miami of Ohio. Take that for what it is. But other schools, bigger schools, were in on him. Tariq Boney, all-name team guy, the third player out of D.C., same high school as Adrian Hamilton. And then the aforementioned Tommy Carr, Lloyd Carr's grandson, number 859 overall in the class, according to the composite. But there are 1 or 2 services that have him in the top 300 as a 4-star, just that the other ones have him ranked like, 1,000 or 1,100, 900. So the average weighs out to him being 859. If I had to put my money on these 2 guys, watching the film, reading the reviews, et cetera, I think he's going to be a better quarterback, right? We've seen what happened to his brother. There were doubters on his brother. Michigan shouldn't even offer C.J. Carr a scholarship, people said. And look what is happening now. If you take what I'm thinking, I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 favorites going into next season for the Heisman Trophy, along with checked out Merchant Saint and Ohio State and a few others. Tommy can grow like that. Wasn't a physical specimen early on, but absolutely dynamic throwing the deep ball and as fundamentally sound with his footwork as you can get as a high school quarterback. Rounding out his senior year at Saline and headed to Michigan. I do believe he is an early enrollee. Rounding out this class, last 3 players, Jaden Pyle, right? He's out of Dallas, Jack. He goes to Parish Episcopal, about 12, 15 minutes up the tollway from where we are. There's some doubters on him. The third wide receiver in this class. There are a lot of people say Jalen Pyle put up huge numbers, right? Huge high school numbers. Plays in like the Catholic or Christian school only league, so not the highest competition here in the state of Texas, that he is not Big Ten quality, but it's up to him to prove those people wrong, and I hope he does. Caden Catchings out of Mississippi, a linebacker, and then you've got the kicker of the future for this team, Micah Drescher out of the state of Illinois. Great class overall if they hold on to those 3 players, if they add Havon Finney from LSU, if he decides to decommit and flip to Michigan, would even be a better class. But consensus right around 10 or 11 ranked. The 24 composite, taking all the rankings, has him as 11. ESPN best ranking at number 9 class. The Rivals on 3 merger number 12, and then 24/7's own rankings also has them 11, like their composite does as well. One more ask for you guys: have you subscribed to the channel? Yes. Hit me with the Y down in the comments. I want to give shout outs to like 15 or 20 of you guys in our next show. If not, let me know. I'll know where we stand. Maybe I'll reply to you and say, why not? Tell me what we could do to earn your subscription. But if you hit no, if you hadn't today, hit that subscribe button, add no, and I'm subscribing today. I'll definitely give you a shout out. I hope you enjoyed this 2026 Michigan football recruiting recap. If there's any big time news, we'll have either a short or we'll have it over on social media with those 3 players. Till then, go Blue.